A Look at Veterans is underwritten by the generous support of Berkshire Bank, America's most exciting bank.
What's your X? What makes you compete? What makes your blood pump? What makes you take risks? What makes you move faster, work harder? What makes you smarter? What makes you love? What's your passion? What excites you? So what's your X? Find your X. Life is exciting. Let us help.
A Look at Veterans is underwritten by the generous support of the factory outlets of Lake George. Over 50 great stores in one central location. Exit 20 off the Northway.
Everyone needs an outlet. The factory outlets of Lake George. One great location. Huge factory savings from designer brands like Eddie Bauer, Gap, LL Bean, Brooks Brothers, Under Armour, Carter's, and many more. Visit factoryoutletoflakegeorge.com for special offers and a VIP coupon book. Located just off Exit 20 on the Adirondack Northway. The factory outlets of Lake George. Everyone needs an outlet.
A Look at Veterans is underwritten by the generous support of Victory Funding. We deliver the best service with the highest level of expertise in the industry, and we are a local, veteran-owned business. Let us help you achieve your real estate goals. A Look at Veterans is underwritten by the generous support of the following companies and individuals. Airbest Reliability Instruments and Vibrolaser Instruments Corporation are masters of machine health. CEFQ, changing lives every day. And Jim's Glass Service. Thanks for the break. Full Moon Bar and Grill. The best place on earth is the moon. Or Apollo's Wine and Liquor, the liquor store with spirited and sparkling personality. And Bob's Trees, family owned and operated since 1942.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the next installment of A Look at Veterans. Anyone who's been watching the program knows that each week, and in coming weeks as well, we're going to be talking to experts in the field of veterans issues. And last week, my guest, Carrie Blanchard, was here from the VA, the Health Administration Division. And we were talking about housing, and the two issues came up in that conversation, Carrie. One was what happens with short-term needs for housing, and then how you can extend those needs to make sure people are covered and they're not left out in the cold after a certain period of time. And then the other thing that we talked about was that there are particular issues, I'm sure it makes total sense to you, that men have certain issues and women have certain issues. Correct. So I asked Carrie to bring an expert in to help us with those two topics. And joining us today is Michele Woodcock. Welcome, Michele.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you here. Now, Michele works in a different division called Grant and Per Diem.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And you're the liaison for
Correct.
that
Yep.
in Veterans Health Administration.
Yes.
And Carrie, once again, is a residential housing program.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, good. Carrie, I want to leave off, I want to start where we kind of left off.
Okay.
Your particular department there, I remember this phrase clearly. You said, we got one goal, get a roof over their head, get them stable.
Correct.
And that window, of course, is like a 90-day window.
Correct.
What happens during those 90 days when you realize, for whatever reason, that this person needs some additional help?
Yep. Sometimes they may, during that 90-day period, enter, for instance, like a substance abuse program. They may need a surgery.
Oh, sure.
So there could be different things that happen within that 90 days that help the veteran and us to realize that permanent housing within the 90 days may not be completely realistic. So when we realize that and we come to an agreement, then we would bring the situation to Michele, who is the Grant Per Diem Liaison, and we discuss goals. So whether it be permanent housing, whether it be needing a longer time in a vet house type setting. Mm-hmm. And when we bring it to Michele, usually it's because they need a longer period of time.
Yes, right. Sure.
To give them more time to work on their goals.
Mm-hmm. Now, if someone comes to you, like Carrie comes to you,
Yep.
or you spot it yourself, What kind of additional services do you provide then beyond that 90 days?
So Grant Per Diem is transitional housing. So depending on what the veteran's needs are, it can be a lot longer stay. The national average is about 6 to 7 months, but they can stay up to 2 years to kind of work on those things. A lot of times income is an issue, so it's finding a job or starting the Social Security process to get them some income. Mental health issues, needing to work on some behavioral health stuff, and a lot of times too, substance abuse issues. So they're, they're into treatment and they need some outpatient treatment, some sober time. So that in our program, in the Grant Per Diem program, gives them that time to not worry about housing and not worry about the roof over their head. They can have our program to work on those issues.
And let's face it, anybody who is in business realizes 90 days goes by sooner than you can blink an eye, and 7 months, same thing. You tend to think, 7 months, that's a really long time. But when you think about the challenges that veterans have coming back in transitioning, and it could be abuse problems, it could be all kinds of problems, which leads me to the other topic I wanted to discuss. We sometimes assume, so men come through the door.
Right.
Not the case, right?
Right.
Not only men, I mean.
Correct.
Right.
So we do see a lot of female veterans. The Grant Per Diem program we're kind of unique in this area in Albany. VCHC in Ballston Spa has a woman's house. And so we have 5 Grant Per Diem beds there just for women. So we're able to work with the women there and then also connect them with the services to the Albany VA because we have a lot of women's services there.
Realizing that women would have some unique challenges.
Correct.
During transition. Domestic violence comes to mind, right? Or some kind of sexual abuse within the military itself.
Yep.
Now, you have to deal with those as well, correct?
Correct. And we do have specialists at the VA that deal specifically with those issues. We have a women's clinic with that women, it's just for women, primary care. So that's pretty special for the Albany VA that we have that there.
Yeah, we have a lot. In 2012, the women's clinic had opened. So it's just the one clinic, you go on the one floor and it's just for women to get care.
Great.
And one thing I learned, which I didn't know, so preparing for this, was that each clinic, so each we call it a CBOC. So there's, in this area, there's Glens Falls, there's Clifton Park, there's Troy Schenectady, so all different areas. They have to have a women's specialist. So that women's specialist
on staff.
Yeah,
got it. Okay.
Yep. So they go through a 3-day training.
Great.
To be considered the women's specialist.
Sure.
And so they have that, but we have at the Albany VA we have specialists for MST, military sexual trauma. We have domestic violence specialists, and we have. I'm trying to think what else I'm missing.
Well, I think the point is that there are specific needs that people have. If you look at it more generically, anyone coming back from service overseas, especially if they've seen action, there are certain traumas, the things that we don't really understand, but you have to be able to provide those services. These are people that gave to us. Now we have to get back to them. And then you have to, when you start to drill down to it, there are certain needs that men have, certain needs that women have, and I've mentioned that mothers have as well.
Yeah, actually, you just reminded me, they also have GYN specialists in the women's clinic too.
Oh, great, okay.
That can do pretty much like anything GYN, they can do right there at the VA too.
That's that's so
and
important.
They can do mammograms there, so there's a lot of services for the women.
That's great. The we had touched on this the last time you were in last week. It's like, when you serve in the military, you're taught really, not me first, but everyone around me first. That brotherhood, sisterhood. So if you are a veteran, male or female, single or a parent, if you know someone, if you're related to someone, please have them contact the VA. Because as you can tell from talking to Carrie and listening to Michele here, that these are people that actually really care. You're not going in to be embarrassed. You're going in to seek the help that you earn, that you deserve. And I think that that's the most important point that we could possibly make.
Absolutely.
Is that the services are available for our veterans, and they need to come in and take advantage of them.
Right, and even if they don't know what they're eligible for, just call.
Call,
because you never
find
know.
out.
Right.
Exactly right, because there are plenty of services available. Well, Michele, thank you for taking the time to come in
Absolutely.
today and
Thank
talk
you for
about this.
having me.
Carrie, great to see you
It's
again.
great to see you. Thank you.
And really, thank you for the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so important. Okay, to see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.